Now, unless you've been living under a no Wi-Fi rock, which I guess you wouldn't since you are watching this video, chances are you've probably already witnessed the Will Smith case after case self-sabotaging speedrun.
It's brutal.
From Jada's now infamous entanglement.
An entanglement.
To all the new bizarre music videos.
I like pretty girls.
And even now, the endless parade of cringy freestyling raps.
This is the bounce back. And even though I'm an action star, sometimes I'ma act bizarre.
What's this? What the fuck is this, motherfucker?
Some call it a Hollywood humiliation ritual. Others say it's a byproduct of the we no longer worship celebrities era.
Celebrities are not better than you. They eat because of you. They have a nice place to live because of you. Why do you put them on a pedestal? Why do you idolize them?
Personally, I just think it's a slow motion collapse of a man who built his entire career off a fake persona. You already know how that goes when the cracks start showing up. Now we're just looking at a shell of Will Smith doing his best to hold everything together, including himself at times, it seems.
Finding that way to be able to be with my own humanity, find a higher power in my humanity, like the honesty and the authenticity and the broader spectrum of the possibilities grow into a higher perfection than the imagery of Will Smith.
How about, hey, Chris Rock, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I fucked up.
How about that?
Now, quick trigger warning, there's gonna be a whole bunch of weird stuff coming to light in this video, as well as a healthy dose of cringe. Man, may not make you want to somersault yourself into 7 a.m. incoming traffic, where, of course, a Superman undoubtedly will save you at the 0.0001 millisecond right before impact. Like they will live, YouTube. Now, before anyone do their pantalones, let me preface this by saying this is not a Will Smith hate video. Like I'm sure most of us either were fans, are fans, or at least still pretend to be whenever the Prince of Bel-Air theme song hits.
In West Philadelphia, born and raised, it's been my day.
Even back before the whole Will and Jada downhill fiasco began, at the peak of their glory, summit of the Hollywood power couple mountain, you could say. When you thought of successful relationships or relationship goals, you would be lying.
You would be lying.
If Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, and the Smith family didn't at least cross your mind. Like we all know the J. Cole verse.
I want a real love, dark skin and Aunt Viv love, that Jada in that real love.
Okay.
It just seemed like at the time they were all about build your family, stack your bread, stay out of trouble, which I mean, no role models, but that was the blueprint.
No role models to speak
I
up.
say that to say this video isn't about throwing shade. Kinda. This is a research-based timeline spawned out of my innate ADHD field.
I wonder how the flippity flop it ever got this bad.
Curiosity. Just simply trying to explain to you how Will Smith destroyed his entire reputation in a 3-minute and 28-second freestyle verse.
People ask me how I do it. I just bite off more than I can chew. Then I chew it.
And come to find out, the only way I could really do that is to fire up the DeLorean and blast it back to when it all first started. Back to the 90s. So see you there. See, back in the early 90s, before Jada, Will was already married to another woman by the name of Cherie Zampino. Now, the way Will met Cherie, though, let's just say, very foreshadowy of what's to come. See, back in those days, many would say Will was already a made man. Prince of Bel-Air, his pockets getting heavy, ego is soaring high. Like, this man literally saw Jada on an episode of his sitcom, A Different World, and just saw pure young buckaroo confidence, was like, hey, yeah, I gotta go snatch her up.
I was like, yo, dude, I saw this girl on Different World.
And of course, with the newfound fame and connections, daps up the right people, mainly Alonzo.
Alf was like, yo, I can set the meeting up.
And just like that, just scores a backstage pass to the set of that sitcom on the sole mission to meet Jada Pinkett.
I walked up in the audience in Different World. I was the Fresh Prince.
Now, as fate would have it, the day he comes in, Cherie happens to be there. And yeah, I guess you could say it was love at first sight for Mr. Willie, or so he thought. Fast forward a year later, boom, boom, bam, him and Cherie gets married in 92, and also welcomed their first son, Trey, the same year. Now, I don't know if that was just normal at the time, but that was hefty quick.
I went to Different World to meet Jada and met Cherie and ended up marrying Cherie.
Now, according to Will here, in his 2021 memoir titled Will, Cherie and I were in our first few months of marriage with a brand new baby, and for Cherie, I can only imagine that this experience was unsettling to say the least. Like, it sounded to me like the marriage started off rocky and ended on Rocky Balboa 3. Get it? Because, like, it lasted 3 years in totality. Yeah, alright. Now, from what I'm reading, the main problem seems to be stemming from Will's wandering, lustful eyes, as many boys do. And I mean this not to excuse anything I'm about to say, but to give context, because context matters. At the time of his marriage, Will was 23 years old. 23! And look, I can't speak for everybody, but from my personal experience, a typical 23-year-old woman is, you know, a fairly mature-ish, you know, 23-year-old woman.
A typical 23-year-old boy.
Yeah, you gotta hop in that DeLorean, roll it back 10 years. Like, I don't know why, it just takes us a little bit longer simmering in the maturity pot before our cerebella starts to cooperate and synergize correctly. So you could already tell, like, mine's not even fully there yet. And that's the lucky ones, mind you. Some boys never make it to manhood. Mentally, you too. Mentally. Now, sometime during the Will and Cherie marriage, Will was shooting the movie 6 Degrees of Separation, which I thought was just a crazy ironic title. You know, another one of those foreshadowy moments. Like, for a second, I was like,
This is proof the Illuminati exists. They are scripting our whole life in front of our faces.
And in that same 2021 memoir, Will admitted at the time he fell in love with his co-star Stalker Channing. Like, even after the filming wrapped up, he was quote-unquote desperately yearning to see and speak to Channing, which honestly, I just thought that was a weird thing to admit. I mean, Stalker Channing. Look, no offense to her. She was gorgeous in the movie. Brilliant actress. But she was 49 years old when they shot that movie. And Will was just legally given permission to sip alcohol. Like, brother, you have a hot-ass wife and a kid back home.
Generational fumble.
Like, I don't know. Maybe Will has some mommy issues. And you know what? Funny enough, Channing came out and spoke on this, right? And she says right here, as I quote, I felt very motherly towards him. I like him a lot. He was absolutely adorable. Just a sweetheart, natural, easygoing. Like, I don't know about you guys, but that just sounds like your favorite homeroom grade teacher talking about you during like a parent-teacher conference meeting or something. Like, she probably looked at Will like Little Willie, and diabolically enough, the whole time Little Willie was trying to get his little Willie some action. That was a water gun, YouTube, water gun. Now, this issue, on top of many other issues, I'm sure, ultimately led to a divorce in December of '95. Now, keep in mind, that was when the divorce was finalized. Will openly stated on one of the Red Table Talk episodes that Cherie actually filed for divorce way back on Valentine's Day.
She hit me hard. Cherie filed for divorce on Valentine's Day.
She hated his guts. Like, I don't know what you did to deserve that, Will, but you probably deserved it. And it's really hard to say if this all happened on the same day, but the way Will phrased this, you could potentially assume that he walked out on Cherie announcing the filing of divorce, called Jada right away, and started their little fling.
I remember I was like, I'm gonna sign the divorce papers. I literally walked right out from there. I called Jada. I said, hey, Jada, what's up? This Will. She said, hey, how you doing? Good. I said, are you seeing anybody? No. I said, cool, you're seeing me now.
All on the same day. Like, that would be diabolical. Either way, the Will and Jada fling started, give or take, immediately.
We did not have an affair.
We did not have an affair.
He was married.
So although it wasn't necessarily an affair, there was a good chunk of those limbo months, say between February to December, where technically they weren't divorced, but Will was Jada's cheeks. Now, as you would expect, this fling stirred up some tension, caused your standard issue household drama.
We were both very fiery.
Yes, both of you were.
It was just a lot of intertwining.
Especially with Will and Cherie now having to figure out the co-parenting thing. And then you add Jada to the mix, the evil stepmom. It was even reported, she told Trey once, hey, you're not playing football no more, buddy. Signed him up for ballerina classes, had him walk around the house in tutus and shit. Like, bro.
It was tough that I couldn't be out there with my team.
I'm just kidding. Actually, she was a fairly good stepmom, according to Cherie. You know, she came in there with all the right intentions, which is honestly all you could really ask for when it comes to co-parenting with the mistress.
My only requirement was that you treated my son well. You did that. And your heart was always right towards him.
Now, Jada wouldn't stay as a mistress for too long. As we all know, Will and her would tie the knot in '97, New Year's Eve of '97 to be specific. And the year before that, Tupac Shakur, highly regarded as one of the greatest rappers of all time, was tragically murdered in a drive-by at the age of 25. Now, this is only relevant because of the relationship between Tupac and Jada Pinkett.
We definitely had this beautiful closeness that was really intimate.
They both grew up in the same neighborhood, both attended the Baltimore School of Arts. Jada even admitted in 2018 that they had a quote-unquote precious connection, and even admitted they kissed at one point.
Okay, Pac just kissed me, and he kisses me. And then there was one more time. He kissed me, and it was just like...
Now, this was just another weird situation because on one hand, Jada would publicly announce her deep connection and love for Tupac. And then when ears starts perking and questions starts arising.
You talk a lot about Tupac Shakur.
I said he was my soulmate.
That's what they saying. You said.
Where?
That's all.
We have soulmates. Our children can be our soulmates. If there is such a thing as past lives, definitely think Pac and I have traveled a few together.
She'd moonwalk some of that back, insisting it was more so a platonic relationship.
We did not have a romantic relationship.
relationship.
I think he bust her chin. That's that cherry love. Go look at their pictures when she take pictures. She holds her hands like this across his chest.
We did not have a romantic relationship.
I go on reality. I don't go on what people answer. See, the questions be complicated, but the answers be simple.
And the truth is, at this moment, nobody besides Jada Pinkett on God's green earth knows what happened between her and Tupac. We can only make assumptions based on what was stated. So, what has been stated? I'm glad you asked. See, going back to that 2021 memoir, Will admitted he had a raging jealousy with the rapper Tupac Shakur. I hated that I wasn't what he was in the world, and I suffered a raging jealousy. I wanted Jada to look at me like that.
Were you ever jealous of the love Jada had for Tupac?
Oh, fuck. She just loved him like he was the image. I was the soft rapper from Philly, and he was pop.
First off, fuck your bitch in the clique you claim. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife.
Now, this next thing, I don't know if it's ever been confirmed, but according to Jada herself, on numerous radio and podcasts, Tupac had actually proposed to her while he was in prison at Rikers.
When he asked me to get married, he was at Rikers.
And the whole timeline of this is just very confusing. See, Jada apparently was visiting Tupac fairly frequently while he was at Rikers, and he was incarcerated between February to October of '95, which, if you remember from earlier, that was around the same time her and Will started their little rendezvous tour.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but I thought it was good context to know. Now, for the next part of 2 decades, the Smith family was killing it. Movies, music, Willow topping the chart with Whip My Hair.
Karate Kid, Whip My Hair, Hawthorne, Nobel Peace Prize. Our family did that within a 6-month period.
Even Jaden was popping out with some bangers.
You know why you was an icon living? Why? You was born from an icon. Let's go!
The family was seemingly untouchable, and vice versa. It just seemed like everything they touched was turning to gold. But of course, all that fame and clout comes at a price. You see, chasing quote-unquote perfect for the world slowly warps you, and you may just end up losing yourself. The pressure cooker of our perfect picture was cracking, and it was around this time that you started hearing sewage leaking. Like you didn't necessarily see it, but you heard rumors about it. See, during this period, Will, Jaden, Willow, they were all out doing big projects, big things. Somebody had to hold the fort down. Somebody had to be that consistent figure for the family.
She had to be home to raise her babies while I got to do everything I wanted to do, sacrificing herself to fit my picture.
And most of us would probably label this as wifey duties or mother duties, right? And we all know there's no fame or glamour in this work. There's no standing ovation. Most of it is underappreciated, actually, and a lot of it is unseen to the public. And of course, Jada would naturally take on this role of being that consistent pillar for the family. But as her 40th birthday approached, she was spiraling.
I think the turning point in our relationship for me happened when I turned 40.
Call it a midlife crisis if you want, but really it was just her realizing that she'd given up a lot of herself, spent years playing a role for Will, the kids, and the public, and internally she was kind of losing it.
There was a period, mommy woke up, cried 45 days straight.
Metaphorically, she wanted to rip off the mask and just live freely as Jada. I guess for Jada, it all seemed inauthentic to who she is. Will, on the other hand, I don't think he fully understood the context, so to him, it seemed like, oh, you're sad? Easy fix. $1 million birthday bash.
Her 40th birthday was going to be my thing. It was going to be my deepest, most beautiful proclamation of love in front of all of these people. And the whole time I'm like, the little boy that wants mommy to say everything was wonderful.
I don't know. Maybe Will has some mommy issues. And I'm sure Will thought he was doing the right thing at the time. But like I said, Jada wanted to take off the mask, and instead he threw her like the most expensive mask party ever. Jada would go on to tell Will after the party that it was quote unquote the most
ridiculous display of my ego.
And yeah, when this first leaked, a lot of people, including myself, was like, imagine complaining about $1 million birthday party. Like, life must be really hard for Jada.
There was so much that wasn't me that I was living.
And was some of that what you felt like you had to present yourself to the public?
I mean, at that level, I would assume privacy is no longer a free right. It might not even be a privilege. So yeah, I would imagine the immense pressure of having to live up to your public image every second of every day. At some point, you're gonna lose it. It's the same reason we get footages of Bieber and Ye crashing out on a paparazzi.
Hey, good morning, Kanye.
Shut the fuck up.
You know we like you.
Shut the fuck
you
up.
Left
It's 4 a.m., you blood-sucking mosquito.
Basically, she was calling out for help, like, Coach, I need a timeout. I need a Gatorade. I can't breathe. And Will came back like, nah, keep playing. We still got another quarter left.
Not only did I not understand, I didn't care.
Now, that birthday incident would mark the turning point of their marriage. You could say the moment Pandora's box just busted open. Even Will admitted our marriage wasn't working. We could no longer pretend. We were suffering the brutal death of our romantic fantasy, the burning away of the idealistic illusion of the perfect marriage and the perfect family. Quite a bit dramatic there, Willie. But a bit dramatic, eh? Now, for the next few years, Will and Jada would be kind of on and off, doing their best to patch up the relationship. But by 2016, everything would come to a full halt. We were just exhausted with trying, and we both kind of just still stuck in our fantasies of what we thought the other person should be. Basically, by 2016, they were separated, just not legally. And of course, at the time, the public had no clue. So to keep their family and public image intact, Will and Jada continued doing what they do best. Acting.
He was on the set filming another movie. I said, "You are so sexy. You are looking good. I can't wait to see you."
Now, in 2017 at the BET Awards, this photo would start making its rounds online. This is, of course, a photo of Jada with R&B artist August Alsina. So let me give you some quick backstory lore. So August Alsina is, of course, an American R&B artist that makes music specifically engineered to get your ovaries to tingle so that you can mingle. Amazing talent, awesome gift. Just not the type of guy you want around your wife alone in a room.
See if I snuck up in your bedroom, touched you while you sleep, came to steal your heart, girl. Don't call the police.
But yeah, you guessed it. This is where the Jada and August infamous quote-unquote entanglement begins. Now, August met Jada in 2015 through Jaden, who considered August like his best friend at the time. Probably not anymore. But that's what makes this whole thing even more so messy. Like, Jada doggone slept with her son's friend. Now, it's speculated that Jada and August dated around 2016, right around the same time her and Will were quote-unquote separated. And for years, it was kind of just like a rumor, right? Conspiracy. They were shoved into the back corner of the library, behind some shelves. That is, of course, until June 30th, 2020.
What was the real situation with Jada Pinkett Smith?
I actually sat down with Will and had a conversation. He gave me his blessing. I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life.
And of course, the internet went crazy. I mean, it was 2020. Most of us were working at home. We had nothing better to do. It was a good little escape from reality. But because of that, 2 days later, Jada would tweet this tweet.
There's some healing that needs to happen, so I'm bringing myself to the red table.
And of course, following that tweet, on July 10th, the world would get the infamous quote-unquote entanglement episode.
And then I got into an entanglement with August.
An entanglement?
Now, I'm assuming the goal of the episode was to do some damage control, but honestly, the only thing we all saw was the face of a broken Will Smith. And I remember the memes were endless. For weeks, you couldn't open up social media without seeing Will's soul leave his body. I'm serious.
But wait, there's more.
8 days post that episode, August Alsina would drop his newest single featuring Rick Ross titled Entanglement. Yo, I don't know how peeps are just so quick with it. And if you haven't heard this song, let me just read you some of these lyrics. The definition of entanglement is when you're tangled in them sheets. Girl, I know we don't call it a relationship, but you're still reproducing with me. I'ma pull up when he dip skirt. You always think me and you reproducing. Will, if he sees me, he gon' trip. That ain't my girl, but I got the key to the crib and to your car. To the crib and to her heart. Yo, if I'm Will, where my Glocks at? Where them nukes? Like, somebody go ahead and just speed dial Denzel Washington.
Ellen DeGeneres?
Somebody's gonna have to slide for your boy. I don't know if this was August's master plan from the jump, but the whole thing kind of just feels foul, you could say. Because according to Will and Jada, the Smith family went out of their way to welcome him in, went above and beyond to help him through his health crisis and mental health struggles.
When Og first came around, he was really sick. The outpouring for him from our family was initially about his health.
And I mean, we found all those different resources, to help pull him through.
Essentially, they took him to the Pokemon Center, except the Pokemon Center was like their home. And he basically repaid him by promoting his album off the back of his relationship with Jada.
I totally gave myself to that relationship.
And look, I have no issues with the initial interview. He was asked a question about a rumor. He responded, all right, cool. But to swing back after the Red Table Talk episode with the new single titled Entanglement and all the wild lyrics, see, I can't even hate the hustle. It was just cha-ching. Now get this. After the Jada incident, August would allegedly come out of the metaphorical closet.
Seems like August Alsina came out as gay.
I don't know.
I didn't see that one coming.
I don't know. He kind of looked at Fisher to me.
Like, yo. Yo. That is just unfathomably funny. You can't make this shit up. And it's not even about him coming out. It's about him coming out after being with Jada. Because word on the Calabasas streets were, oh, Jada is too masculine. She runs that household. She wears the pants in the relationship. Will is a beta duck boy. And people were also blaming Jada for ruining her kids. I mean, to be fair, Jada and Will could be kind of iffy at times.
Y'all forgot funny existed. Like molasses. Slow.
I go around sometimes and I hang out with other people that are my age and they're just my phone selfie. I'm just like, dude, like, can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now?
I'm gonna give Jaden a little pass, you know, like his mom was slippity slap slop on his best friend. That'll do some. But no, basically they were alluding that, oh, okay, Jada ruined her 2 kids, so here's another one. Surprise, surprise. Anybody who touches Jada Pinkett Smith, you don't taste the rainbow, you become the rainbow. Okay, that was kind of far. Okay. The narrative basically wrote itself at this point. It didn't matter what was true or not true, what Jada said or done. People were just gonna run with it. Now fast forward to the 2022 infamous Oscar. Chris Rock, of course, cracks the G.I. Jane joke.
G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Camera cuts to Will, he's chuckling. Camera cues to Jada. And then just seemingly out of nowhere, camera cues back to Will. He's marching up the stage. 3, 2, 1. Just smacks the comedian host. Like, I remember sitting at home seeing this happen in real time and thinking to myself, no chance, like, it's gotta be a skit. I mean, to be fair, Chris Rock ate that slap pretty well.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Well enough that I thought they rehearsed it, and it might have gone away with it too, if it wasn't for the meddling kids. I know, if it wasn't for Will Smith literally shouting from where he was sitting, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth. Now, Will would actually win an award that night. I think it was like Best Actor for his role in King Richard or something like that. You know how it is. Like, everybody got to give like a little speech. And look, I'm going to just play it for you guys. But it was so awkward.
In this time in my life, I'm being called on to love people and to protect people and to be a river to my people.
Yeah, congrats, buddy, but you literally just smacked the host like 2 seconds ago. Now, that one slap alone would ban him from the Oscar for 10 years. Tanked his image, cost him endorsement deals, delayed projects, and according to some reports, may have cost him close to $1 billion in opportunities. Keyword, opportunities. That's basically what he could have earned if he took on every single project offered, good or bad, all at the same time, which we know is not feasible. So I'd say, you know, random guess, I don't know, ballpark, 100, 300 mil, and that's still very substantial. But I guess $1 billion just sounds better, so we're just gonna go with that. $1 billion for one open palm and a big ass face palm. Now, the internet is, of course, undefeated. They dug up some old clips that Jada had posted like way back. And the clip that went viral is a clip of Jada seemingly clowning their crumbling marriage and showing Will a level of respect that many would consider MIA.
I would say don't just start filming me without asking me
Oh my goodness.
if you could film me.
Astaire, come help us again, please. I'm still dealing with foolishness.
Now, you know who wasn't MIA? 50 pesos. 50 cent isn't the same as 50 pesos, right?
Boy, if you don't...
Let me look that up real quick. 9.36 pesos. But no, 50 is probably the biggest Hollywood troll there is. Like, the man is unhinged. And I love it. So he posted a photo of a DM he had with Will. And this is what the DM said. Yo, Will, you alright over there? Yes, I'm cool. I appreciate your concern, my brother. But why she tell you all that doodle on the show for everybody to see? Well, we broke up, so she did her and I did me. Then she said only she could give permission for somebody to blow her back out. Fuck you, 50. Anyways, fast forward to 2025. Here we are, 3 years post the Oscar slap, 3 years of Will essentially being like an infinite meme glitch. But earlier this year, Will would announce his comeback, starting with his comeback album based on a true story. And this would be his first album release in 2 decades. Now, apparently he consulted with Jay-Z and Kendrick Lamar before starting this album. I mean, he might have been asking for a feature, and they were like, nah. But they basically both kind of just gave him the same advice. Like, if you're gonna make music, could you just be real, Will? For once?
Jay said, don't fake your story. And Kendrick, he paused. He said, man, just say that shit you always been fucking scared to say.
Now, little old me here, just out of the pure generosity of my heart and ears, and, you know, just the love of the game, I sat down and, you know, I listened to the whole album. Yeah. And my honest opinion is you shouldn't have to. Now, you don't got to take my word for it. The website Pitchfork is known to rate albums, right? And I assume the scale is between a 1 to 10. Like, most album would score between a 6 to an 8-ish. Well, they gave Will's Based on a True Story album a whopping 2.4. Here in the review, I quote, Smith has always been a herb on wax, so some cheese is expected. The resulting music is excruciatingly corny, a cringe ringer of therapy platitudes. They roasted the living daylight out of this album. Like, some of the lyrics really made no sense.
I am the paint, and I'm the brush, and I'm the canvas. But if you touch, I am a savage, I am a Libra.
but I identify as a cancer.
I could see it being derived from the possible use of ashwagandha, which the Smith family has been pretty open about using. Like, is it just me or ashwagandha is now the therapeutic salvation for rich folks? Are you unhappy? Do you have trauma? Do you have any issues in your life? Which is everybody. For a small fee of $50,000, you could fly to this remote jungle, be guided by real rabbis and shamans. We do tip here. Tipping culture, yeah, we tip here, yeah. Now, the comeback tour didn't end here. Will would follow this album up by dropping a music video titled Pretty Girls.
I like pretty girls.
I guess you could say the song was kind of catchy, but the lyrics were just talk about doo-doo cheeks. But now the music video, oh yeah, that's a whole demon on its own. Like, if you've actually seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Like, the whole thing just felt like Will Smith was trying to be a 60-year-old F-boy, except he was contractually obligated to be PR safe, which he probably is. But the result is a music video that looks like a messy HR department casting call. You know, girls of all races, sizes, aesthetics. I half expected them to just toss in a random dude in there and a midget for inclusivity points. Like, I've seen clips of Will performing this skit live in like UK London or something.
Girls, I like pretty girls,
And I guess Will is currently on tour right now because recently he dropped a promotional video for his tour, right? And
Will Smith posting a promotional video from his concerts after releasing a new album. When you look up close, faces in the sea of fans appearing distorted and not quite right.
So there's no doubt that there is some AI content.
Now, it turns out, according to Will and his team, the crowd was a real crowd. Like, it wasn't an AI-generated crowd. It was an AI-generated crowd from a still photo of a crowd. I guess that makes it better. Now, I don't know who on Will's team approved for this to be released, but whoever it is needs to be fired. Like, I really don't know how you could okay this. Like, all you have to do is just zoom in a little bit, and they don't even look human anymore. That's an old pastel painting of a pilgrim. This dude right here is a human Cerberus, and this man looks like he just straight up unlocked Nirvana or something. It's terrible. But as bad as all of this was, and it's bad, this doesn't even come close. This doesn't even register on the Will Smith cringe scale of embarrassment when stacked next to some of these recent freestyles.
This is the bounce back. Here come the bounce back. I'm not the type of man to move in malicious ways. But if you talking crazy out your face up on the stage and disrespect me on the stage, expect me on the stage. I am the illest.
Like, I wish I could say some of these bars slap as hard as Will does.
And even though I'm an action star, sometimes I'ma act bizarre.
But I can't. I'm pretty sure Will thought with the album and the music videos and the freestyles and the comeback tour that this was going to be the comeback of a decade. This is not even a band-aid, Will. This is, your house is literally on fire and you call the fire department and they show up spraying it down with gasoline while twerking. But jokes aside, everything that's been happening to Will Smith up to this point has been pretty tragic. And many would say, you know, this is beyond repair at this point. Like, Will's reputation is shredded. Like, how does one even come back from this? Especially when his 2025 comeback is being received as a 2022 flashback. Yeah, that's a bar. But I'll say this, there is one silver lining to all of this. Just like everything else in life, the pendulum swings. I fully believe that if we'll just let go of the outcome, you know, just stay in the fire, eventually the winds will blow a new direction. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. I sounded like Confucius or something. Stay in the fire long enough and the wind will blow a new direction. That's gotta be my ancestors giving me the blueprint.
Then my ancestors visit me. They surrounded me, gave me the vision vividly.
If Will just sticks it out long enough, at some point people are gonna come to the realization that maybe this is the real Will Smith. Maybe Will is corny. Maybe Will is tacky. Maybe the real Will does want to be a 60-year-old F-boy rocking a Bill Cosby-esque sweater. And sure, not everybody's gonna like you again, Will, but the ones who do is gonna love Will for Will and not like Will for who he pretended to be. And contrary to what most believe, aside from the whole Alcina art, I would say Jada was ahead of the curve. Like, she might have been right all along. Like, she kind of hinted this motion to Will like a couple years ago.
There was so much that wasn't me that I was living, so much inauthenticity. I do think that there are a lot more people living lives that aren't true.
Now, lastly, I'm going to try to end this video poetically on a quick story time between Will Smith and Eminem. See, back in '99, both Will and Eminem were nominated for Best Male Music Video at the MTV VMAs. And when they came to the venue, they were on good terms. Like, they were even seated next to each other at the award show. And Will would end up winning the award that night, and Eminem would congratulate him. But that would be the last time these two were buddy-buddy. because of Will's winning speech here. Guess Will's just not good with winning speeches.
I never killed nobody in none of my records. I don't use no profanity in none of my records, and still I managed to get up here.
Yeah. I use a lot of profanity.
Yeah, and apparently Will does too now.
Out your fucking mouth!
Now, whether or not this was a jab at Eminem or the rap culture at the time, who knows? Will said it wasn't, but Eminem really didn't take it that way. He took it kind of personal. And he would go on to diss Will every chance. But as of today, it's come full circle. Will is now cussing to sell records. Ladies and gents. And look, I'll say this. Will got some real doo-doo to get off his chest now. So if using a dozen profanity on a couple corny raps is his outlet and that keeps him from smacking a man across the face, I'd say, hey, go for it, Will. And to piggyback off a verse,
Stand up.
I think I lost my voice. But no, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. As always, like, comment, subscribe, show your boys some love. And I'll see you guys in the next one. But hey, what do you want to know? I'm just sipping. All right, mic testing, 1 2 1 2, beep beep. All right, so I get a lot of DMs and a lot of comments in my YouTube videos about my full setup. So today the gatekeep is over. We're gonna do a full setup tour: lights, camera, mic, action, everything. Now I'm pretty sure I got everything off Amazon minus the editing program, my Mac Studio, and my Mac display. Don't take my word for it. But I'm gonna leave all the links in the description so that if you wanted to copy my exact look, you can. So where do we start? Let's start off with the mic. So this is the Shure SM7B. Of course, it's the widely used podcast mic on top of a random mic arm. I'm not exactly sure which one this is. IX Tech. Yeah, any mic arm will do. Okay, as long as it's a C clamp, you could hook it up to a table like so, and then you have your mic. Bop. Now this all hooks up to the mixer, and the mixer I'm using is the Sound Device Mix Pre 4 or Mix Pre 3, one or the other, but they used to sell this on Amazon. They might not anymore, but I've had this for a while, like 6 to 7 years. You don't have to invest in an expensive mixer like that. Another regular mixer will do 90% of the work, so keep that in mind. Now the camera that I'm using is the Sony a6400 hooked onto a wide lens. This is the Sony 15mm 1.4, but the lens is a wide lens, so it's going to help you capture, you know, the full space and give you that, you know, very wide lens YouTube studio look. As far as the camera, the reason I like this camera is because of this little screen right here. You know, you can literally see yourself as you're recording. So if something screws up, you're not having to wait till post-production. Now, as for the secondary screen, we have an 18-inch. It's a fairly cheap screen. All I did was hook a lightning cable into the studio, where if I'm trying to review a show, I'll put the show on here so I can watch the show as I'm reviewing it to you guys. And then here for the lighting, we have two small Amrons. We have one here and then one right here. So this Amron is on a filter hooked to a Vari-pole that goes from wall to wall. And then right here, we have another Amron hooked onto another filter on a light stand. Everything is bought on Amazon, so I'll leave the link in the description. And then, of course, I'm using the Studio. I like it because, you know, it's so small that you could literally, if you're going out of town or you're going to another country or something, you could pack this bad boy up, pack in a little monitor, hook it up, and get to work. And then the monitor, I'm using a studio display. For the editing tool, we are using DaVinci Studios. Yeah, this is just a regular, you know, little Wu-Ting keyboard that I personally made. We got the little spinner. Yeah, hey, ADHD. You gotta have something to fidget with. And then we have the gaming mouse. And then, of course, you can't buy this on Amazon. I don't know if you could see that, but that is little sauce with the sauce chef. You know, we have the chef, and then we have the sous chef right there. They had the ingredients to make the sauce. So yeah, there it is, the whole studio. Oh, I do have another Amron lighting in case it gets dark out here. and I have it like hooked up right there. That's another Amron lighting. And yeah, that's literally the whole studio. So yeah, if you have any questions about the studio or exactly what equipment I'm using that I didn't specify or I left out, feel free to hit up my DMs. I'm on a little social media detox right now, but I'll be in there for the next 2 days to answer any DMs about, any questions you guys might have. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you. Pew pew.